Dear students, welcome to online classes. Today we are going to discuss about the topic Universal Law of Gravitation from the lesson Gravitation of 9th class Physics. So once while Sir Isaac Newton was sitting under an apple tree, an apple fell to the ground. Now he took the apple and think like that. And there are some questions arises in his mind. Do you know the questions what arose in his mind from this observation? So why did the apple fall to the ground? Why does the moon not fall to the ground? What makes the moon to move in a circular orbit around the earth? So these are the questions here also. And moon is orbiting, but moon is not falling to the earth, but apple is falling down to the earth. Why? Newton knew that the motion of the moon around the earth is approximately uniform circular motion. And so certain net force should be there, which we call it as centripetal force, is required to maintain the uniform circular motion, so that it will acting towards the center and the velocity will acting tangent to the circular orbit. So he introduced the idea of force of attraction between the moon and the earth. So he proposed that earth attracts moon and termed as it a gravitational force. This gravitational force acts as a centripetal force and makes the moon revolve around the earth in uniform circular motion, like a stone which is tied to the thread rotated in a circular motion. There we have tensional force and here we have gravitational force. Newton knew the following data. The distance of the moon from center of the earth is r, that is equal to 3,84,400 kilometers. That can be approximately written as 3.844 into 10 to the power of 10 centimeters. And the moon takes 27.3 days or 2.35 into 10 to the power of 6 seconds for a complete revolution around the earth. So what is the speed of the moon now? So we can calculate the speed and acceleration of the moon using the equations. V is equals to 2 pi r by t and a is equal to v square by r. So by substituting we got am is equals to 4 pi square r by t square. So substituting the values of r and t in the above equations, we get am is equals to 0.27 centimeter per square. So this is the acceleration of the moon. So acceleration of an apple is approximately equals to 981 centimeter per second square. That has given by the Galileo. So acceleration due to gravity is represented by g, that is equal to 9.81 meter per second square at equator and 10 meter per second square at the poles. And he compared both the acceleration of an apple ae to the acceleration of the moon am. We get ae by am is equals to 981 by 0.27. That is approximately equals to 3640. And again he knew that the radius of earth is 6371 kilometers and the distance from the moon to the center of the earth is rm, that is equal to 3,84,400 kilometers. We get rm by r3 by comparing the radius. That is approximately equals to 60.3. Now on squaring on both sides, we get Rm by Re whole square is equals to 3640. So which is equal to approximately the first equation. So from 1 and 2 equations it is clear that AE by AM is equals to Rm by Re whole square. From this we can written as A is proportional to 1 by R square. That is, acceleration is inversely proportional to the radius square. So hence automatically force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Therefore force is also inversely proportional to the radius square or distance between them. So force of gravity decreases with the increase in the distance between the objects and center of the earth. According to the Newton's third law, the force on the apple by the earth is equal to the force on the earth by the apple. So from Newton's second law, F is equals to ma, and from equation 3, A is proportional to 1 by R square, that is equals to remove the proportional we need to place a constant. So therefore A is equals to K into 1 by R square. So K is a proportionality constant. Then F is equals to Km by R square, where M is the mass of the apple. Therefore the force on the apple by the earth is F is equals to Km by R square, equation number 5. Force on the earth by the apple is F is equals to K dash M by R square from the above equation, and where M is the mass of the earth. So the above forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, then only they will satisfy. So therefore K is equals to Gm and K dash is equals to Gm. By equating them we get, where G is a constant. From equations 5 and 7 we have force on apple by the earth, F is equals to Gmm by R square. We conclude that gravitational force between the masses is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Hence, force of attraction is proportional to mass 1 into mass 2. Newton generalized the force of gravitation and said it acts between any two bodies in the universe. And the universal law of gravitation finally states that every body in the universe attracts the other body with a force which is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So the direction of the force of attraction is along the line joining the centers of two bodies. Let us take two bodies M1 and M2 and they are separated by a distance of d. Then the force acting on M2 by M1 is F grav, and the force acting on M1 by M2 is also same gravitational force. So force between the bodies is directly proportional to the product of their masses. That is, F is proportional to M1 into M2. And the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. That is, F is proportional to 1 by d square. By combining these two equations, we get F is proportional to M1 M2 by d square, and we have to remove the proportional and place a constant, that is equal to F is equals to G into M1 M2 by d square, where G is a proportionality constant called universal gravitational constant. And the value of this was found by Henry Cavendish, and it is equals to 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square kg inverse square. The value of G is equal to the magnitude of force between a pair of 1 kg masses that are 1 meter apart. And this formula is applicable to spherical bodies. We use the above formula for all the bodies on the earth, though they are not spherical, because when compared to the earth, size of the earth, any object on the earth is very small and it is assumed to be a point object.